and welcome. You're watching the news update on AFRICUNIA TV. My name is Deborah Ezeh. We begin from the African scene, where a recent report by the UN suggested that COVID-19 lockdowns and other restrictions have badly disrupted HIV testing around the world. In Africa, this has led to significant drops in HIV diagnosis, referrals to care services, and HIV treatment. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, prevalence of HIV is low compared to other countries on the continent, but the pandemic has had an effect in the provision of care. According to UNAIDS in 2019, 4.9 million people in West and Central Africa were living with HIV. And moving on, investments have been urged to take advantage of Africa's arable land to drive sustainable agriculture and increase food production. This was up amongst the conclusion of business leaders and policymakers at the 4th edition of the EU to Africa Business Summit in Marrakech, held to promote business and policy initiative between both continents. Experts say key private sector investment and policy implementation are what's needed to drive further growth. 23% of sub-Saharan Africa's GDP stems from agriculture, according to the World Bank. At the EU to Africa Business Summit, it was also agreed that the EU and Africa trade partnership in the sector must now focus on smallholder farmers. And in Ethiopia, Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on Tuesday urged the Tigrayan rebels to surrender, claiming government forces were nearing victory just 1 week after he vowed to lead military operations at the front. The youth of Tigray is perishing like leaves, knowing it is defeated. It has been led by vision or plan, Abiy said in comments heard on state media. Tuesday's footage was the latest in a series of clips showing Abiy in uniform with soldiers in what appeared to be the northeastern region of Afar. And in Uganda, Uganda's army has launched joint arm and artillery strikes against the Allied Democratic Forces rebel group in eastern Congo. The attacks were carried out with Congo's military against ADF camps. Uganda's People's Defense Forces spokeswoman, Brigadier General Flavia Byakwaso, said via Twitter. No further details were given. Meanwhile, some Congolese opposed the move to involve external forces. And in Morocco, the suspension of all incoming flights from Tuesday has come into effect. The suspension comes in response to the new Omicron variant and will be in place for 2 weeks. In social networks, the Moroccan Foreign Ministry said the decision was taken to preserve the progress made last year during the pandemic. And now we head to Nigeria, where the Nigerian Center for Disease Control on Wednesday morning confirmed the first case of the Omicron variant in the country. This was contained in a press release issued by the center and signed by Director General Dr. Ifedayo Adetifa. Following the discovery, countries such as the United Kingdom, Saudi Arabia, Israel, among others, placed travel bans on southern African countries. Similarly, the government of Canada had also stated that it discovered 2 cases of the variant from 2 passengers from Nigeria. The federal government, through the Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19, however, said that it was investigating the issue to get more details. And still in Nigeria, more updates on the Omicron variant. The federal government yesterday reviewed travel protocols with an additional polymerase chain reaction (PCR) test imposed on inbound travelers as part of measures to contain the new Omicron variant. The Presidential Steering Committee on COVID-19 directed the passenger arriving in Nigeria are now required to conduct a PCR test 48 hours before embarking on their trips, besides taking another test on day 2 after arrival and another one day 7. They are also expected to self-isolate for 7 days. And now we head to the foreign scene, where air travelers to the United States will face tougher COVID-19 testing rules as several countries move to seal off their borders amid heightened uncertainty around the virulence of the Omicron variant and its ability to dodge existing vaccine. In Asia Pacific, Japan and Hong Kong said they would expand travel curbs, while Australia braced for more cases of the coronavirus variant after at least 2 people visited several locations in its biggest cities while likely infectious. In an attempt to stave off hasty border curbs, the World Health Organization urged countries to apply an evidence-informed and risk-based approach to travel measures, saying blanket travel bans will not prevent the international spread and they place a heavy burden on lives and livelihood. And still on the foreign scene, U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin and other top military officials were set to gather in South Korea on Wednesday to discuss the future of their military alliance and plans to counter threats from North Korea. Austin was due to arrive on Wednesday afternoon, while General Mark Milley, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staffs, arrived earlier. The two were scheduled to participate in annual consultative meetings with South Korea, which hosts around 28,500 American troops as a legacy of the 1950 to 1953 Korean War, which ended in an armistice rather than a peace treaty. And now on the sports scene, Ellen White became England's women's record goal scorer as Lioness trashed Latvia 20-0 in World Cup qualifying to record their biggest ever competitive win. The Manchester City forward equaled Kelly Smith's record in the 6th minute with a strike from the edge of the area to put England 2-0 up after bets made had given the Lioness the lead. And finally, Pep Guardiola claims Manchester City could be facing an emergency as injuries, illness and suspensions caught into his squad. The Premier League champions have been without midfielders Kevin De Bruyne, Jack Grealish and Phil Foden for recent games due to coronavirus in the Belgian case and not for the England's pair. De Bruyne is now out of isolation, but Wednesday's trip to Aston Villa will likely come too soon, while Grealish and Foden are still to prove their fitness. And that's all we can take on News Update today. Do follow all our social media platforms on Jointum, Pangram, Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel to stay connected and updated to our news and programs. Once again, I'm Deborah Ezeh. Many thanks for watching.